Hello and happy Friday to all of you out there, wherever you are and whenever you may be listening. Tonight's WKMC TV broadcast is sponsored by Verano Insurance and features a PHAC Division III matchup between the Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes and the visiting South Williamsport Mountaineers. My name's Jimmy Lesko. I've got Dan Lesko beside me. The great Jose Gonzalez supports us from the sideline, and together we're coming to you live from the Jazz Diminick Field at the Silver Bowl on a picturesque, festive night here in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania. Now, South Williamsport comes into tonight's game in the midst of, Dan, what's an understandable mid-season swoon, we'll call it.
Yeah.
They started 4-0, and after that start, the Mountaineers have stumbled, dropping their last three. Now, two of which were on the road, and one was to Southern Columbia.
Right.
So we'll grant them that one. Mount Carmel, on the other hand, is back in the friendly confines now. Right, won 3 in a row. Looking to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Back after the trip to Hughesville last week, which is always a tough one. It's a long ride. But, you know, the Red Tornadoes are rolling, and they rolled the Spartans last week to the tune of 47-7.
Yeah.
And sevens were wild last week as the Red Tornadoes had 7 different players score a touchdown. And 16 different guys touched the ball.
Yeah.
In a 4-quarter game, 16 different guys touched the ball. We talk about the depth a lot, but that never anything more evident than that. So, Dan, do you expect Coach Dara to kind of distribute those carries again like that tonight?
Yeah, Jim, I'm definitely expecting to see more of the same with the multitude of guys getting touches. I believe the Mounties defense is going to be a little bit tougher. They run a 4-4 defense, so they're going to be a little bit tougher up the middle to run the ball. So the Red Tornadoes are going to need to work a little harder to move the ball down the field. But with so many weapons to carry the ball and a more than capable offensive line, you see a lot of guys have successful nights on the ground.
Yeah, and that ground game, I mean, that's where the Mountaineers, when they had their success early in the season, it was on the ground. You had senior tailback Luke Winter, who we'll call his name a lot tonight. He'll be wearing number 9. He had 219 yards and 4 touchdowns opening night.
Wow.
He's bumped that total up now. He's over 750 for the season. Additionally, Zach Miller and Lane Lusk have combined for another 550 and 6 touchdowns on the ground. And that says nothing of Gannon Goriski, who unfortunately is injured and not able to play tonight. Hasn't played much of the season for the Mountaineers. And he's a guy that had 1,200 yards last year on the ground that they were really expecting to contribute. So with all that being said, do the Mountaineers need to have a big game on the ground tonight to have a chance here?
Jim, they definitely do. They do need to have a big game on the ground, but that's not all they'll have to do. So that'll bring me to tonight's South Williamsport keys to the game. So we have pick me a winner on the road. All right, so pick me a winner on the road. Yeah. Trying to put that one together there. I didn't do that one myself. I can't take all the credit for that. But so pick me. The Mounties have 11 interceptions through 7 games. 3 of those returned for touchdowns.
Wow.
So they're turning the ball over at a pretty heavy clip, and they're capitalizing. They're getting points off it, too. So pick me. Need to see a couple picks tonight if they want a chance to pick up the W here on the road. A winner. Luke Winter, as you said, Jim.
Clever.
He's running the ball. He's their number 1 guy right now. He's carrying the ball. He's a captain on the team. You're going to see a lot out of him tonight. And on the road, it's a long ride from South Williamsport out here to Mount Carmel. So it's a long ride. So they need to make sure they don't come off the bus flat-footed. And going to Mount Carmel's keys, they need to stay on schedule, they need to start fast, and they need to finish strong. So stay on schedule. By stay on schedule, Jim, I mean that 2 ways. I normally talk about staying on schedule with staying ahead of the chains on the offensive side of the ball. They also need to stay on schedule for their season. The Red Tornadoes, we talked about it the past 2 weeks. Week 6, springboard, finish the season 8-2, go to the district championship game. That's what they need to continue to do. They need to make sure that they don't fall into any sort of lull over these next few weeks heading into the district playoffs. They need to start fast, as they did last week. The Red Tornadoes scored points, I think it was maybe a minute and a half into the game, 2 minutes into the game, they had points on the board last week. They need to continue to do that this week with getting points up early and often. and they need to finish strong again. They definitely did that last week. They started scoring, and they didn't really stop scoring. And that's what they need to do again this week, because this is a Mounties team that is going to be difficult to keep down.
Yeah, we'll get to see the Mounties first on the offensive side as they won the toss and elected to receive. The Mounties sent out the aforementioned winner, as well as Austin Nash, Casella, and Hostrander for their captains, while the Red Tornadoes sent out Wills, Chapman, Troutman, and Reisinger.
Okay.
Chapman will be handling the kicking duties as he has for this season here. And his first kickoff as we're underway, it's going to go to Winner at the 10. Winner's got a little bit of a seam. He's going to fight through. Nice tackle there made by number 24, Julian Stellar, at the 28-yard line. Will be 1st and 10 Mountaineers.
Yeah, you're right, though, Jim. Winner did do a nice job of kind of finding that little crease there was in that kickoff team and getting a little bit more than I thought he initially would.
Yeah, he got more than I said he did as well. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 29.
Okay.
So let's not start having problems with spots yet. It's too early, Dan.
Yeah, it's too early for our eyes to go, Jim.
So the Mountaineers will come out. Lorson will be under center. He's got an eye backfield, twins to the right. Lorson's going to play action and roll to his right. He wants to throw right away in the direction of Nash. And Nash makes an amazing catch. Wow, that's as good a catch as you're going to see at this level. Full extension for a 1st down out to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Jim. Wow, Nash bailing Lorson out there. Lorson kind of he had him open, and kind of made a running throw, so it was a little out in front of him. But like you said, Nash with an unbelievable catch pulling that one in.
Yeah, they won't throw it often, but when they do, Lorson's going to go to Nash. Lorson's got 8 touchdowns on the season, 4 of them to Nash.
Okay, yeah, he's definitely going to go his way.
So now it's more of a full house backfield, power eye, I guess, if you want to call it that. And it's going to be play action again for Nash. And it's that out route, and Nash is going to pull it in again. Does a nice job. It'll be another Mountaineer 1st down.
Yeah, Jim, we talked about how they're gonna run the ball, and here they come out. First 2 plays, 2 passes, 2 first downs. So I think the Red Tornado defense was kind of expecting to see a rushing attack. So them coming out, and that was a really nice, just want to point out, that was a really well-ran route there by Nash. That was a 10-yard pinwheel out. And he hooked it inside and then worked back to the sideline, just found a way to get open.
A lot of personnel changes here for the Mountaineers.
And not a lot of personnel to begin with.
Lorson's in the gun now, and he's going to roll to his right. And it's going to be Nash again, and he had him, but he overthrew him. So the first misfire of the night for number 6, Landon Lorson.
Yeah, and you're right. He had Lorson again open, kind of just finding a hole there coming out of that. I think he was coming from that inside slot spot. And just a quick little out route, get him in space. That's what for the Mounties. That's really what you need to do, is get the ball into the hands of your playmakers and let them do the work.
Looks like it's Grant Bachman is the one. He'll be split out wide most of the night. Nash is in that slot position if he's on a side with another receiver. They will split him out by himself a lot, but Lorson's going to take the snap out of the gun. And now it's a throwback, and that's going to be number 44. We'll try to listen and hear. Number 44, Caleb Nelson, is who that's going to be. So again, we had a little trouble with the roster tonight, so bear with us as we rely on our good friend Aaron Demansky over there to give us a call.
Yeah, Jim, I just want to give a shout out to the Red Tornado defense on that. I watched this play on film, this throwback screen to the tight end, go for 15-plus yards multiple times in I believe it was South Williamsport's game against Muncie. And they moved the ball at will with that play. Good job by the Red Tornado defense staying home and making the tackle.
3rd and 8 here, and they're going to hand it to Winner. And the Red Tornadoes are ready for him. He'll pick up a few yards across the 45 down to the 43, and that's going to bring up 4th and 5. So, Dan, one thing I've noticed early on is how much this Mountaineer offense flirts with that play clock.
Yeah, they're definitely, like you said, they're making a lot of personnel changes. Looks like Lorson's going to the sideline every play to get a play call. So they're they're going to have a decent amount of time of possession. They're not going to let the Red Tornadoes have the ball a whole lot.
So again, 4th and 5. Big play for the Mountaineers early on. Larson's going to throw again. He rolls out to his right. Wills is pursuing from behind. He won't get there, but he's got Nash again for another first down. So a nice ball delivered by Larson, rolling to his right for the 3rd Mountaineer first down at the opening drive.
Yeah, Jim, that's a big 4th down conversion there. Red Tornadoes kind of reeling a little bit there on from the first 2 quick first downs, able to fight back, get them into a 4th down situation, and Mounties not phased, able to come through and with that big conversion there.
And one thing I want to point out about Landon Larson, he's rolling to his right, he's rolling to his left, he's making these throws. This young man's a sophomore.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot of composure for being a sophomore.
Now 1st and 10, 9-12. It'll be a handoff. That's number 33, Zach Miller, and he has nowhere to go. He'll pick up a yard to the 29, but that Red Tornado interior defense does a nice job of stopping him quickly.
And you know what, Jim? The Red Tornado offensive and defensive line has been just dominating fronts throughout this season, and I think that South Williamsport is trying to develop something with their offense off of that. They're realizing they're not going to have a whole lot of success running the ball up the middle, so they're getting Larson on the move and getting him outside of the pocket to make some throws downfield.
Back under center, Larson is, and it's going to be a handoff to the up back. We'll see. That's Miller again. And it's not. That time it's Lusk. Lane Lusk. So again, that combination of he and Miller will split duties at fullback, and they tried to get a quick hitter there.
Yeah. I like what the South Williamsport coaching staff is doing with their offense. They're really got a wide range of plays that they're running so far.
3rd and 6 from the 28. Full house, power eye backfield that is. Now Larson, he's under pressure. He rolls to his left. He gets away from Chapman, and he's going to throw it. It's intercepted. That's going to be number 28, Shane Widener on the interception. So big play there, but there is a flag in the backfield. Now we'll see. It looked like it was in the area of holding against the offense.
Yep.
And that's what it's going to be. So the Red Tornadoes will certainly decline that one and take over 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line.
And Jim, you know what? I got to give credit there to Jack Chapman. Shane Widener did a really nice job, made his coverage, was in the right spot to make that interception. Jack Chapman got into the backfield. He was the one that got held in the backfield, but he got into the backfield, got a hand on Larson, and forced Larson to kind of throw that ball before he wanted to and throw it into coverage.
7:55 left in the opening quarter. The Red Tornadoes are able to turn the Mountaineers away. Now there's some confusion here as the referees are going to send Burkowski to the sideline. Pupo will go in for the Red Tornadoes there, but they'll stay in their shotgun double wing with Daukus and Pupo in the wing slot. It's going to be a handoff to Widener off the right side. Now he works back across the grain, puts his head down and powers through a terrific run all the way across the 35. They'll mark him down at the 38. So a nice gain of 15 there on the Red Tornadoes' first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, Jim, I think that pick that Widener had on the defensive side is kind of waking him up a little bit on the offensive side there with that first run, a big one.
Yeah, and that's all it's going to take for Coach Eisworth to take his first time out of the night, as he'll get his Mountaineers to the sideline to regroup.
Jim, that's one of those situations where you think there had to be something that Coach Eisworth saw over there. Either a misalignment on defense, guys not doing their job, which would prompt him to call a timeout this early, that quick.
Again, this beautiful sights and sounds of tonight's game coming to you courtesy of course, WKMC TV, and tonight specifically sponsored by Verano Insurance in both Mount Carmel and Shamokin. So again, you can get out to redtornadofootball.com to watch the live broadcasts on Friday nights. It'll take you out, or you can get to YouTube and WKMC TV. Either way, a lot of people to thank for making this possible. And this time it's going to be the inside handoff to Burkowski, and Burkowski's going to try to get to the edge, and he has the edge. He's got a first down. He'll put his head down and run through Bachman. He does a nice job of dragging him out of bounds, but again, it'll be 15 yards down the field to the 49-yard line. The Red Tornadoes are in Mountaineer territory for the first time tonight.
And Jim, I talk about it every single week. The vision of these Red Tornado backs. Normally that cut is inside for Burkowski. He's turning that upfield and he's getting out to the middle. There was able to see the room on the outside and get to it. Very nice job, good vision on that run.
Reisinger's going to take the snap and hand to Widener, who does the same thing he did last time, the same thing he's been doing for 3 years now, Dan. He picks and he gets inside that lane, upfield, close to another 15 yards down to the 37-yard line.
Jim, and again, the vision, like they're making reads off their pulling lineman, who was, I believe, Mikowski and Wills on that, coming from the backside. And Widener found the hole and made something happen.
1st and 10, Red Tornado 7-17 and counting. This time it's a snap to the up back. It's Daukus, and Daukus is going to put his head down, and he's going to carry some defenders with him, and he'll be very close to a Red Tornado first down. And the sticks are moving, so the Red Tornadoes are going to have 4 plays and 4 first downs.
And Jim, I talked about it earlier, this Mount Carmel offensive line, they're young. The 2 or 3 seniors, 2 freshmen. Sometimes they have 2 seniors, 3 freshmen out there. But they've just been dominating up front.
Reisinger to Widener again, and Widener's, he's really running through tackles. So that'll be the shortest run of the night, which when your shortest run of the night is 6 yards, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's definitely really good. And like you said, we got to give credit to these running backs for finding the holes, but tons of credit to that offensive line for making so many holes for them to choose from.
2nd and 4. Burkowski comes in motion, and Reisinger's going to keep it and throw it. Now he's got Wills in the end zone. Can he get it to him? And Wills makes an amazing catch. That's going to be a touchdown for the Red Tornadoes. That's a 20-yard reception. Reisinger to Wills.
And Jim, Wills, as we talk about the do-it-all guy, we saw they had a nice little article about Logan Wills in the Football Friday this week. He used to be a quarterback.
I didn't know that.
He was a quarterback last year. He was a offensive lineman, and this year he's making catches like that in the end zone. It's really good to see a kid like that does everything.
Stellar on for the extra point. That's up, and it is good. And so with 6:11 left in the first quarter, the Red Tornadoes will strike first, go on top of the visiting Mountaineers 7-0. Again, courtesy of that 20-yard touchdown reception by number 4, Logan Wills, on senior night, no less.
Yeah, definitely on senior night. And it looked like he and Chapman were both open. I saw Chapman running down the middle of the field with his hand in the air, kind of calling for the ball. But Reisinger, another senior to senior combination there on senior night, with Widener and Burkowski leading the way down the field running the ball, also seniors. This is definitely a senior-heavy team, and they're putting on a show tonight for the fans.
And we alluded to it a little bit at the outset, Dan. It's a very festive night. It is senior night, so you have all the pageantry and everything that goes with that. It's also youth football night, so you get to see the future
Yep.
of MCA football here. And then, of course, we're also honoring the 1994 state championship team on the 25th anniversary. I know, Dan, you have some thoughts about that, so we'll give you an opportunity to talk about that later. That team coached by, of course, Dave Whitey Williams, defense Chink Conley. So a lot of guys that, are just legends in the Mount Carmel area, and certainly the players as well. So we'll talk about those guys just a little bit. But for now, it's Chapman again. It's a low liner, and that's going to be 33. Zach Miller picking it up around the 5. And they'll be in a lot of trouble there. There are a lot of red jerseys. We'll see exactly where they mark him. It was very close to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I think.
Did they give him the 20?
Right around the 20, it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to have the 20 and about 4 inches. So that's where the Mountaineers will start.
Yeah, great job on the coverage there by the Red Tornadoes. They got down there quick and made like you said, he didn't really have anywhere to go there.
Yeah, we talked about that play clock running. The play clock said it'll be 14, it'll be 12 by the time Lorson gets to the huddle. And Bachman will be split out to himself to the left. Nash is to the right in the backfield. It's Winter behind. Oh, Larson's going to throw it, and he's got Bachman on a go route. And he had him, and it's going to fall incomplete. It was a good ball by Larson, and Bachman had his guy beat. He just couldn't bring the ball in.
Wow, yeah, I would say that, wouldn't technically say that he had his guy beat, but Larson put that where only Bachman would be able to catch the ball. He put it on, that was kind of the outside shoulder throw, where only Bachman would be able to get it. Everett, good coverage on his inside hip, but wouldn't have had a chance to really defend the ball where Larson placed it.
Winner behind Lusk, behind Larson. Try to figure that one out. But Larson's going to roll out again. Now Wills is going to force, and Wills is going to take him down. So Wills having himself a heck of a quarter here, a touchdown reception, and now a big sack for loss of, my goodness, 7.
Yeah, Wills with the 2-finger sack there. He got upfield. Larson tried to go inside, and the fingertips that Wills was able to get onto Larson's jersey was enough to pull him down.
Well, those are the same fingertips he used to pull in that touchdown reception. Does a nice job of using all hands going up top for that ball.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. The coverage was all over him, and he was able to just kind of outmuscle his guy to get that ball.
We'll see 3rd and 18 here for the Mountaineers, deep in their own territory. When Larson takes the snap, he'll be at the 6-yard. And the ball's on the ground. It's all Larson can do. No, Larson's not going to get on top of it.
Looked like Mikowski might have came away with that ball, Jim.
And now it's taken a long time for the official to make a call.
Oh, they're calling 4th down.
Larson looked like we'll see the replay here. Larson looked like he had it initially, but then the ball came back out, and I think he found a way to get back to it. So
somehow.
A crisis averted for the moment here. But again, we're going to have number 7. Check that. It's not number 7. Try to see who that is doing the punting for the Mountaineers. But he is at the back. Now it's a low snap. He does a terrific job getting anything out. And it's going to take a Mountaineer bounce. Oh, my goodness. All the way out to the 47-yard line of the Red Tornadoes. So that was Rishoff. We'll correct that. And a great punt. My goodness.
Yeah, Jim, and it looked like the Red Tornadoes were kind of trying to bring some pressure to get after that punt. But like you said, Rishoff fielded the snap off the ground, got a punt out. Not a deep punt, but got a very nice roll. And the Red Tornadoes are going to be starting with the ball in their own territory.
Yeah, but just barely. Again, it'll be 1st and 10 at the 47. The Red Tornadoes lead 7-0 with 4:17 left in the opening quarter. Shotgun double wing. Burkowski in motion. Left fake it to Burkowski. Reisinger is going to throw. He's looking for Chapman. It'll be high and wide. Fall incomplete.
Yeah, Reisinger did a good job there. Got out, set his feet, but definitely felt the pressure coming from the backside and had to kind of make that throw a little earlier than he would have liked to, and just did the right thing, kind of throw it out of bounds where no one can catch it.
2nd and 10. Again, when the Red Tornadoes are in this double wing, it's Burkowski and Daukus in the wing to the right side. Double tight of Wills and Chapman, but this time it's going to be a handoff to Widener, and Widener is just running the same way he's been running all night, and he takes that handoff off the right side, picks his way through the second line of defenders, and powers through down to the 34-yard line. So that's a pickup of 19.
Yeah, Jim, now give a little bit of credit to the Mountaineers defense, because you saw on that run specifically Widener trying to get out from behind his blockers and get to the outside.
Yeah.
They didn't allow him to do that. They forced him to stay in the middle of the field behind his blockers, which slowed him down enough to make the tackle.
This time it's going to be Burkowski. Burkowski's going to do the same, picking his way, and he'll get caught up by the Mountaineers. And again, it'll be a short run by tonight's standards, but overall, staying ahead of those chains, Dan.
Yeah.
And it'll be out to the 32, give him 7 yards.
Yeah, I mean, coming into a 2nd and 3 or a 1st down and then a 1st down and then a 1st down and then a 1st down, that's definitely staying on schedule, moving the ball on the ground. So Red Tornadoes doing a really nice job of staying ahead of the chains and staying on schedule.
The 27, not the 32, Dan.
Close enough.
And Reisinger's going to throw, and he's looking for Burkowski down the center, and he's got him, and it's incomplete. Burkowski did a nice job running and kind of accelerated at the end to create separation, but the ball was just a little too strong.
Yeah, and that's a tough situation, too, there for Burkowski and for Reisinger, because if you think about it, Reisinger's two favorite targets are Wills and Chapman. Big guys, tall guys. Throw is a little high for Burkowski. Burkowski's a little bit shorter than Wills and Chapman.
Burkowski's sitting here at 5'10". I'm not going to say anything about his height. But this time it's Bendis, and Bendis does a nice job picking up the first down. He's over the 20 down to the 16 for another Red Tornado first down with 3 minutes left here in the first quarter and a 7-0 lead.
Nice run there by Bendis again. I like what Coach Dyer is doing. A lot of guys touching the ball. We've had runs by Burkowski, Widener, Bendis. We've had guys, Daukus. Wills has touched the ball on the reception. So a lot of guys are getting opportunities here tonight, as we talked about in the pregame.
We'll see who gets one here. It's going to be Widener again, and Widener's got a lot of red jerseys in front of him and a head of steam, and he's in from 17 yards out. So Widener will put the Red Tornadoes up 13-0. He continues his hot streak over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Jim, we talked about it. Last week, Widener had only about 40-some yards last week, right? But that was probably on 3 or 4 carries in a quarter and a half, maybe.
Yeah, Widener 4 of 43 and a touch.
Yeah, he didn't have another 100-yard game, but he averaged 10+ yards a carry. And we talked about it last week, using that as a springboard moving forward, and he's continuing that momentum this week.
Steller's kick is up, and it's good. 14-0 Red Tornadoes. And Dan, I cut you off before, but we were talking about that 1994 Red Tornado team, and I know you felt some type of way about that team. Yeah, Jim.
This Red Tornadoes fandom, everything that they talk about is tradition. It's Red Tornado tradition. This 94 team, it's their 25th anniversary. They started their season off on the Valley Tour, playing Tamaqua, Panther Valley, and Marion Catholic, and winning all 3 of those games with a total margin of 132-14. Whew.
That's a lot of points.
Following that, they had a little trouble going into the next few weeks, and that led them to develop what we now know as Pride Night. A few of the seniors came together on the 94 team and said, we need to meet up on Wednesdays before the games, talk about the games, get ourselves ready to go. 25 years later, Pride Night is still a thing and is near and dear to all Red Tornado football players' hearts. There's more to talk about on this team, and we'll get to it a little bit later.
Chapman on again, and it's going to be Winner. It will not be Winner. He will have a head of steam, though, out across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Number 33, Zach Miller. Oh, and they'll give him the 35, so good night to be a Mountaineer.
Yeah, when it comes to spots on the kick returns, for sure, Jim. They've been getting some pretty favorable spots, but they've been, like you said, Miller with a head of steam getting up there in that briar patch and moving down the field.
1st and 10. Again, 15 seconds. We've got a visitor up here in the press box, a nice little moth it looks to be. So if you hear Dan scream like a little girl, that's what that'll be. Meanwhile, on the field, Lorson pitches the Winner. Winner's trying to get outside, and he's a big kid. It's hard to get him outside. The Red Tornadoes are ready for it and stop him right at the line of scrimmage.
And, Jim, I don't think it would have mattered what size he was on that one. The Red Tornadoes kind of flow to the ball and flow with the play there. There was no getting outside. There was no cutting it back inside. There was no cutting it back across the field. There were just red jerseys surrounding Winner as soon as he had the ball. And you'll see, it does take them a while to get up on the line, but they run so many different sets. They have twin split tight, power eye, single back. So much different things they do.
Power eye this time. And going to send one of the fullbacks in motion before pitching it to Miller. And again, the Red Tornadoes do a great job of stringing him out.
Daukus with a very nice job getting out in front, taking that. He took on his blocker. His blocker was the guy that motioned out of the backfield. He took him on square, rode straight down the line of scrimmage with him, and then shed him to make the tackle. That's exactly what a defensive end is expected to do, and he did it very well.
3rd and 11 now, minute 7 and counting left in the first quarter. The Red Tornadoes on top 14-0. Lorson has the Mountaineers in the power eye, and he's going to throw. He's only looking for one guy, and it's Nash. And Everett's got good coverage out there. It'll fall incomplete and bring up 4th down. Now, locally, we've got some interesting happenings, we'll call it. As I think anybody who's following Cole Region football knows kind of some of the excitement that's gone on over the last couple weeks with Southern Columbia and trying to play
Wyoming area. Yep.
And Dan, do you have an update for us on that one?
Yeah, Jim, currently in the second quarter of the Southern Columbia-Wyoming area game, it is a 0-0 game. So Wyoming area's defense must be doing something to kind of slow down that Southern Columbia offense.
And on the field, we've got another punt that's going to be fielded by Pupo. And Pupo's trying to pick his way. Does a nice job of getting through the first wave. And he'll be out of bounds. Nice return into Mountaineer territory. It'll be 1st and 10 Mount Carmel at the Mountaineer 47-yard line. You got any other scores, Dan?
Well, Jim, so we talked about things you don't normally see. Southern Columbia not putting points up in the first quarter, something you don't normally see. Also, Central Columbia currently up 2-0 on Warrior Run.
They're playing baseball in the fall.
It's what it looks like, Jim. Shamokin's tied 0-0 with Danville. Let's see here. Berwick is up 7-0 on Crestwood. Bloomsburg, who we got next week, is up 14-0 in the first quarter against the Hughesville Spartans.
And our own number 13, Reisinger, again, he'll keep that one after a fake pitch to Widener. He'll keep it out across the, nope, not across the 35, to the 35 for a Red Tornado first down. The clock will stop with 38 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah, another nice little run there by Reisinger. So, Red Tornado, and just that quickly, Southern Columbia is now on top 7-0 in the second quarter.
Doesn't take much. This is going to be a snap to Daukus, and Daukus is in the open field. Oh, he's tripped up. Nice play by Bachman. Daukus had some room there. Bachman got him by the shoelaces. They'll be very close to another Red Tornado first down. They'll give him 9, 2nd and 1. But that play is going to end the first quarter here at the Silver Bowl, where the Red Tornadoes came out strong and jumped out to a 14-0 lead at the end of 1.
Now, Jim, that run there by Daukus was not something we normally see from Daukus. He doesn't normally get the ball and get into open space. Normally, he's kind of just following that wedge that is formed and pushes forward for multiple yards. So I think even he was shocked to get outside there. And when he finally got to make that move, just had one arm tackle to beat, couldn't get around him. But a very nice run. And this Red Tornado ground game has been terrific so far.
Yeah, and you've been able to see it clean and clear, courtesy of WKMC TV. Tonight's broadcast sponsored by Verano Insurance in Shamokin and Mount Carmel. And again, just really quickly while we have it, thank you so much to the WKMC TV students who run this studio.
Yep.
On cameras, we have Jade Whitmer, Sammy Satney, Jake Evans, Jaylee Gonzalez, and Zoe Psycho. Graphics are Orville Fesniak. Master Control, Tyler Barnhart and Corin Enos. Production assistants, Aaron Bossler, Krista Kimsel, and Dominic Tamborelli. So thank you all for everything you do week in and week out. You make it very easy. Dan and I just show up here and start chatting. And for those of you at home, you get to enjoy really high-quality football and high-quality coverage in the comfort of your own home. And Reisinger in trouble, and he slips. So that'll be number 44, Caleb Nelson, and he'll get home to Reisinger on that. But again, Reisinger loses his footing. And he'll lose about 10 for a 3rd and 11.
Yeah, and Jim, that's one thing that we noticed from Reisinger a lot this year. His escapability has been unbelievable. He's been able to kind of feel the pressure and get away from it. There, I think if he would have been able to keep his footing, he would have been able to kind of make that guy miss and step up in the pocket and get that ball downfield, as he has done so many times throughout this year so far.
The Red Tornadoes find themselves facing a 3rd and long for the first time tonight. And they're going to do an inside reverse to Burkowski. And Burkowski's got the first down all the way down to the 20-yard line. So that'll be a gain of about 16, Dan. And that's a play I don't know if we've seen this year.
No, I definitely don't think we have. We see that inside sally play to Burkowski all the time, where he sort of comes in motion from the wing and Reisinger takes the snap and hands it to him. But we haven't seen the double handoff where Reisinger gives it to Widener and Widener gives it to Burkowski. We definitely have not seen that, but the play proved pretty fruitful right there with the big gain.
And here we'll see the Red Tornadoes do something we've seen a little bit, where they set themselves. Reisinger gets a look and then a new play, and the new play is they hand it to Widener. But a nice job there by 44 Caleb Nelson, and doing work all over that defense for the Mountaineers. Widener only give him 3.
Yeah, and Jim, I just want to give a shout out to Coach Darren. Now, grant you, the offense that the Red Tornadoes run is designed to do this, but it really, really attacks the holes in the 4-4 defense. You know, you see the outside linebackers kind of spreading out, and the running backs are going inside those holes that are left there.
Reisinger takes a snap and he rolls his left. He's got all kind of time, and he throws a rocket to Burkowski, and it falls incomplete. It was a little bit behind him. But again, Burkowski kind of by himself in the middle of the field there. Just will fall harmlessly to the turf. Bring up 3rd and 7 with 10:03 left in the second quarter, and the Red Tornadoes on top 14-0.
Jim, and that's one of those things, too. This is so far, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but so far this has been one of those games where, you know, that a little miscue there, not going to prove to be too much of an issue. Red Tornadoes hoping to come back and get the first down on this play.
We'll see what Coach Darrett dials up. This time it's just a handoff to Burkowski. No misdirection needed, and he'll have another first down inside the 5 to the 3. So another 14-yard run. And Dan, I know we're in the world of advanced metrics now, and while it's kind of difficult to track it at a high school level,
right.
I'm curious, that particular play, that inside sally to Burkowski, or even go back last year and include Widener, I wonder what the average yards gained on that particular play is for this offense.
Oh, Jim, it has to be, it's got to be upwards of 7-8 yards per turn, because it's always successful. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yep. Well, in this case, while we were being excited about that play, it's going to be a hold against the Red Tornadoes. They're going to bring it back. No, excuse me. That was an unsportsmanlike, or a dead ball foul, I guess we'll call it, right?
Right. So if it's a dead ball foul, then it should be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes from this spot, which it looks like it's going to be.
That's what's going to happen. They're getting the chain set up, so good catch on that one, Dan.
Yeah.
Didn't quite see what happened there.
Yeah, I think we were so excited to talk about the nice run that we kind of missed whatever the extracurriculars were on the field.
You know, typically once the play's over, I think my job's over. I chill out in between plays, so that one's a little bit on you.
All right.
Reisinger sends Widener in motion. He's going to fake the pitch and keep it himself. He's got a little bit of open space, but he puts his head down and picks up the first down. He'll get down to the 5, so they're pretty close to where Burkowski's run had ended.
Yeah, Jim, just a little shout out to Reisinger, doing kind of his running back type thing there from the quarterback spot. He talked about it last night at Supper Club. He never wanted to be a quarterback, Jim.
He's going to hand it to Widener, and Widener's in. His second touchdown of the night, the Red Tornadoes' 3rd, and it's 20-0 here with 9:25 left in the first half. So hold on. You're telling me this kid, this big number 13 for Mount Carmel that we've seen grow as a quarterback, that is steadily creeping up all the all-time record books as a passer in a storied program, didn't even want to be a quarterback?
Jim, I don't think he even wanted to play football. You got to think about it. Tommy Reisinger, 1,000-point scorer in basketball. Heard last night that he's going to be going to college to play baseball. So why not be one of the best three-sport athletes that we've had come through here in a long time and do it on the football field? He came out for football, didn't want to play quarterback, but Coach Dara asked him to give it a shot and turned into, like you said, one of the top 5, I think, in passing.
Interesting. Stellar continues to be stellar. You have to give me a little bit of credit. It's been 8 weeks, and I haven't used that one yet. So he's 3 for 3 tonight on extra points. It's 21-0 Mount Carmel. And Dan, I think you had a little bit more you wanted to give us on that 94 team. Speaking of stellar, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we talked about the tradition. They started Pride Night and things like that. But these guys, think about the tradition, the Tornado tradition, the Tornado fandom. 20 buses and thousands of fans made their way to Altoona to watch the Big Red come away with their first of 5 modern state championships and a double overtime thriller against Forest Hills. And along with the multiple records and accolades, more than anything else, the 94 team would lay down the blueprint for future state championships, doing it all on the road and normally as underdogs, Jim.
Chapman's kick was going to go out of bounds there. But yeah, it's something. That kind of started the whole, at least, like you said, the modern era. Of course,
yeah.
We know what the Red Tornadoes did under Coach Diminick.
Yeah, all the Eastern Conference championships and things like that. But once the state championship started to become a thing and the Red Tornadoes started to pursue that, the 94 team kind of set the mold.
25 years ago, that's something.
Yeah. That's the year I was born, Jim.
Whew, buddy. With Chapman's kickoff going out of bounds, the Mountaineers will start on their own 35-yard line. Morrison will bring Nash in motion, and he's going to throw. Let's see, he had Nash. He's going to make the catch. He'll get underneath that, I guess. It won't pick up too much, just a gain of 3. 4, I guess, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, so Nash made the catch and didn't turn up field early, apparently. So, good job pulling that one in. But another thing that that I loved about this Red Tornado tradition was when I played, 94. Like I said, I was born in 94, Jim. But I had the opportunity to go to Coach Carm's office every week and watch some of these older state championship teams play to kind of get motivated.
And that Red Tornado defense, they seem certainly motivated tonight, Dan. That's going to hand off to Miller, and he's going to run into a wall of red jerseys. Let's bring up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Jim, I don't think they really liked that that first drive where the Mountaineers got a little momentum. That Red Tornado defensive front didn't have a chance to really eat there with everybody going on the outside. So another thing that these 90s Red Tornado teams were a big part of, and Chink Conley was the Red Death defense, which tonight
yes,
we are seeing a very, very tough defense from these Red Tornadoes.
Larson's going to throw now, and he's going to throw it about as far as he can. There's 2 red jerseys over there, and it's incomplete. Nash was blanketed by both Burkowski and Pupo, so great job there all around, and the Mountaineers will be forced to punt.
Yeah, and this Red Tornado defense just doing a really great job of kind of just staying focused on the task at hand. They're getting pressure on Larson. They're not worried about what happened in the previous, and we're seeing a different type of punt.
Yeah, it caught me too. It's very open.
Yeah, which is causing the Red Tornadoes to kind of open things up on their. Normally it's a tight defense, almost like a normal defensive set up front. This time we got everybody kind of stretched across the line, matching up with guys.
Going to be 52. Bauer Sox is doing that punt, and that's a nice one. Sky high. Burkowski smart to call a fair catch, and it'll be 1st and 10 Mount Carmel at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, that's a very good job by Burkowski there with Nash bearing down on him, deciding to call that fair catch.
Seeing that punt formation reminds me of, and I don't know if anybody still does it, Dan, but I used to think at the college level, the collegiate level, TCU would roll out to punt. I don't know if anybody still does that, but...
And Jim, you know, it had to do. I think it had a lot to do with the turf there at TCU. They'd kind of just get that low line drive punt and let it roll.
Reisinger's going to throw, and he's got Chapman on a hard comeback. And Chapman breaks 2 tackles, and now he's got a foot race. Number 7, Bischoff had an angle on him, and Chapman's going to go down. It's a big play. He'll step out of bounds before he gets tackled, so we'll see. But it's going to be inside the 15. Nope, check that. It'll be at the 16. But again, nonetheless, a huge play. That's all Chapman.
Yeah, I mean, once Reisinger got that ball to Chapman, he just let Chapman do all the work there. It was a quick hitter on a little hitch route, and then Chapman made 2 guys miss and then kind of outran everybody else to the sideline.
Maybe about a 51-yard gain, and Reisinger's going to throw it to him again in a fade to the back corner, and he overthrows him. Incomplete.
Yeah, I like what Coach Dara did there. Decided, you know, let's go back to Chapman. He worked hard on that last play, so let's try and get him the ball in the end zone here. Look to see maybe, you know, they spread him out there and threw him a fade. Now let's see if they maybe spread him out here and hit him over the middle. You know, they did a little quick hitter on the hitch, a fade route. Now I'd like to see maybe a little slant route to the middle of the field because, as you can see, behind the linebackers, there is nobody in the middle of the field for the Mountaineers.
Reisinger's going to throw, and he's got the same look to Chapman. They're going to force the defense to make a tackle, and they will. They'll bump Chapman out of bounds. It'll be a pickup of, well, we'll see where they say he stepped out of bounds. They'll say at the 8.
Yeah, he's going to be real close to a first down here.
It's going to be 3rd and about a yard. But yeah, Dan, you talked about that opening behind the linebackers, and that was where Reisinger had Burkowski, and the pass fell incomplete on the last drive.
Yeah, so definitely think that there's something there. Still like to see Chapman get his touchdown here, but maybe we'll just pound it in.
It's going to be a snap to the up back. That's Daukus, and the pile moves. And it'll only get so far. It'll pick up the first down for sure. We'll see where they stop him. They'll say at the 3. So 1st and goal from the 3 for the Red Tornadoes. 7:15 left in this one. The Red Tornadoes, left in the first half of this one.
Right.
The Red Tornadoes on top, 21-0 and threatening yet again.
Yeah, and it seems to be a common thing here. Every time the offense gets the ball, they've just been kind of moving the ball downfield at will.
Reisinger is going to hand that one inside to Daukus.
Yeah.
And he's in for a Red Tornado touchdown. So Daukus gets it on the Act 2, the 3-yard plunge from the spot Burkowski usually occupies, correct?
Well, Jim, I'm curious if they just had Daukus run that from his normal position because they're normally right next to each other. I wasn't able to really see where he came from. I did see him come around on that, but that's normally where he pulls from to get out in front and block.
I mean, we talk about it every week, Dan. Coach Dara has so many wrinkles in what, when you just look at it, looks like a simple offense.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, they come out in pretty much the same set every play and can run 500 different plays out of it, it seems.
And Steller's kick is up and good. So 6:48 left in the first half. On senior night, the Red Tornado seniors doing a lot of work, up 28-0.
Yes, they are, Jim. They're definitely doing a lot of work, and they're, I think it's a big motivation with the '94 team here.
Sure.
Because of the pride and the respect that team has earned in the locker room. It's big for the Red Tornadoes to come out here and kind of impress.
And this Mount Carmel area as a whole, this program is historic. It's a storied tradition. There's so much that goes on everywhere. And so just remember, again, that the sights and sounds of tonight's game, our ability to bring this to you wherever you are. And there's a reason we open the show with wherever and whenever you are, because we know how many of you catch this live, how many of you are catching it on Wednesday nights, how many. It shows up on Service Electric. Dan, we were on Thursday night at like 11 o'clock.
It was on today, too.
It was on today, so it's all over the place. And just remember that these are coming to you live thanks to the generosity of people like you, the Red Tornado community, near and far. And as the Mount Carmel Area School District and its partners continue to do big things, no donation is too small. So be sure to listen throughout the broadcast each week for ways to support our efforts, or you can just pick up the phone and call 570-339-1500 for more information. That's the high school office. Chapman's kick's taken by Miller at the 11. Ooh, and he is stuck at the 25. My goodness, and who do you think that was, Dan?
Probably Reed Witkowski, I would say.
Bingo. Speaking of things that are expected,
yeah.
Do you have any score updates for us?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you one that I did expect and one that I was a little surprised by.
It's like a little game here.
Southern Columbia, we talked about at the beginning of the first quarter, or beginning of the second quarter for them, was at 0-0. Now, still the second quarter, up 17-0 on Wyoming area. Shamokin, currently up 13-0 over Danville. We've also got North Schuylkill up 19-7 on Blue Mountain. Central still ahead 2-0 on Warrior Run. Berwick up 14-7 over Crestwood. And Bloomsburg now up 21-0 over Uswell.
Winter's stuck in the backfield. Oh, he's going to get forward progress, so that's a good day for him. He'll stay. It'll be a gain of a yard instead of it looked like a loss of 3.
Yeah, and Jim, unfortunately for Winter, that is a good day for him getting forward progress and picking up a yard, because this stingy Red Tornado defense has not been giving up a whole lot on the ground.
No, you can kind of feel, Dan, you talked about it before, there's a vibe in the stadium tonight, a buzz, whatever you want to call it, and it's contagious.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's so much going on, and I think that electricity is kind of translating onto the field.
That's a nice, tough run there. Out of 28, Lane Lusk. So, again, we talked about him a little bit earlier. He and Miller operate that fullback position. They'll spell each other, which, and that's another thing we didn't really talk about, Dan. With all the changing in formation, the running to the sidelines, the different guys coming in and out, that's Coach Eisworth making do with what he's got. The numbers are very low for South Williamsport.
Yeah, Jim, as you can see, we've talked about it for the Red Tornadoes before, that, having 35 guys on the team as a low number. I think South Williamsport's rocking with about 25, Jim. You can see it on the sideline down there.
And now is a big play for the Mountaineers. That's Lusk. He continues to run. He's running through arm tackles. A huge play down inside the 25. He'll mark him down at the 22-yard line. So a huge play by number 28, Lane Lusk, on 3rd and short.
Yeah, and Lusk just kind of, I think, the Red Tornado defense a little over-aggressive there, wanting to get the stop on 3rd and short. Kind of sent a lot of guys a run blitz, and then as soon as Lusk broke that first line of the fence, there weren't a whole lot of guys there. It took Widener having to run him down from behind to make that tackle and save the touchdown.
So now for the second time tonight, the Mountaineers inside the Red Tornado 35. We'll see if the Red Tornadoes can turn them away again. Nash comes in motion across the formation. Morson's going to look to him, and he throws that hard out, and Chapman read the route the entire way, got one hand up and batted the ball down. Another 6 inches any direction, and Chapman might be going the other way.
Yeah, and Jim, that's one of those plays, too, where Chapman did exactly what he needed to do. I think he was coming on a blitz there. He realized that ball was going to get out quickly, and he wasn't going to have time to get to the quarterback. So he just watched the quarterback's eyes, read when the ball came out of his hand, and got his hand up there to knock it down. It really kind of just improvising and making a play happen.
2nd and 10. 5:05 left in the first half. And we will get a timeout for the Mountaineers.
Which, again, Jim, I think is probably a good decision on the Mountaineers side. You finally got something to break on the ground.
Yes.
Then you come down, you want to throw it. You want to try and go for that big play after a big gain. and it gets stuffed. So now it's like, all right, we got some momentum. We're finally finding a rhythm a little bit. Let's make sure we don't ruin this. Let's make sure we get the right play call in there. So I think it's a good decision on the Mountaineers side to kind of take a second and get everything in order.
2nd and 10. The Red Tornadoes on top, 28-0. We got 2 touchdown runs by Widener, one by Daukus, and a 20-yard pass play from Reisinger to Wills that opened up the scoring here at the Silver Bowl. Stellar 4 for 4 on PATs. Get a little, see what's going on here. They've not yet put the ball back in play. Both teams seem to be ready for it. There is an official's timeout.
Official time, yeah.
We'll see what the conversation's about. It's a quick one.
I don't think they know what they're doing. They're just sending a Red Tornado defender off the field.
And I think they're going to send Widener off because he had his helmet off.
But if the ball's not in play, Jim, he's able to do that.
I'll agree with you, Dan.
If the clock's not running, it was a timeout. They're allowed to take their helmet off on a timeout.
And now the back judge here is telling Coach Dara that he put the ball in play, although it does seem like he's the only one that knew he put the ball in play.
Yeah, that's all right.
Nash in motion again. There's a false start there on the Mounties.
And Jim, can you blame him? This Red Tornado offense, or this Red Tornado defensive line, has been putting a ton of pressure on Lawson when he drops back to pass, and they got a lot of speed coming off that edge, and it looked like it was the left side there where Wills is coming from that kind of got the false start, and I think they were just trying to kind of beat Wills to the edge to not let him get around him.
You get that drop step.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. You saw the left tackle kind of do that drop step to try and get into his pass protection because Wills has just been super quick getting around him.
And it is, you know, for it being a 4-score game here in the second quarter, it is a little loud here tonight. So credit the Mount Carmel faithful for staying alive. And Larson's going to throw. He's under pressure immediately. Now he rolls to his left. He's got a little bit of time. Bendis is in pursuit, and he fires to Nash, and Nash takes a big shot from Troutman, but he will hang on to the ball.
Yeah, that's a really nice job there by Nash coming back to the ball, but also, like you said, by Troutman coming in there and making a nice tackle. Because Nash did a good job of pulling that one in, but he's going to remember that hit tomorrow.
Yeah.
He definitely will.
3rd and 6 from the 18-yard line. So certainly with a 28-point deficit, it's 4-down territory for the Mounties. We'll see how they want to handle it. The power eye backfield. Larson's going to roll to his right. Now there's a pretty clear hold there. That's not going to be called, I guess.
No, not a whole lot going on with that white hat down there. He's kind of doing his own thing out there, but good job, good pressure there from Daukus coming off that edge, although he did get held. Put enough pressure on to force an incompletion and bring up this 4th down.
And we'll get another timeout from Coach Eisworth again, and he'll do what he needs to do to try and draw up his 4th down play. And what we are trying to do here, again, for those of you who aren't aware, we've got a couple things going on at the Silver Bowl, one of which is certainly the turf project, as we call it. Is in spring in 2019, the Mount Carmel Area School District launched an unprecedented 3-year fundraising initiative to raise $1 million to restore and update Mount Carmel area's famed Silver Bowl Stadium. The main fundraising effort will go towards the installation of a new all-weather field. The goal of the district is for various sports to have the ability to compete and practice at the Silver Bowl facility. These sports and activities include football all the way down to the midget level, and we talked about that youth football night here.
Yep.
So those guys, soccer, track and field, and marching band programs, but ultimately it aims to provide a health and fitness asset to all sports within the Mount Carmel Area School District, and will also include students of all ages for both in-school and extracurricular activities.
Yeah,
so remember that.
So if you're able to, definitely get out there and help out with that. But Jim, just to point out, Mountaineers are 1 for 1 on 4th down today.
We'll see if they can go 2 for 2. Larson throw. He's under pressure. And that's going to fall incomplete. So Dowcus and Wills called their own play, and they said, well, I'll meet you at the quarterback. Larson did everything he could do to get that ball out, but it was to nobody in particular. And Red Tornadoes will turn the Mounties away and maintain a 28-0 lead with 4:05 left in the first half.
And Jim, Larson was able to see Dowcus. He couldn't see Wills, but you and I could. And I could see him from up here with a big kind of a scary smile on his face as he was running untouched to the quarterback.
It was like
there.
a horror movie.
Yeah, and they both, like you said, Dowcus and Wills met at the quarterback, and they, again, made Larson. Larson's going to remember that one tomorrow, too, I think.
The Red Tornadoes back at it. Reisinger takes the snap and he hands it to Burkowski. And Burkowski doing a great job of working across the field. Pick up very close to a first down. Let's see how, if they're moving. They are moving the chains. So another first down on that play, courtesy of Burkowski.
And Jim, let's. I'd like to see the Red Tornadoes kind of treat this as and Coach Dara kind of treat this as a put-away drive. You know, one of those ones where you kind of just keep moving downfield.
Yeah, we'll talk about this in 1 second, Dan. Reisinger's going to throw, and he's got Wills behind the defense, and he got it to him, and Wills makes a great catch into Mountie territory across the 40. We'll see where they mark him out of bounds. And they'll give him all of it, so that's a nice spot there for the Red Tornadoes. All the way down to the 34-yard line, so a big play for that Red Tornado offense.
Yeah, Jim, it looks like Coach Dara is thinking the same way that we are. Kind of, you want to use this as a put-away drive. You need to put another one in before halftime and kind of put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, well, and it's not that 35, if you're looking for it, it's not exactly arbitrary, as Reisinger will fake the pitch to 34 Bendis and call his own number.
And he's in
and
there.
Now he's across the 10-5, and he's in for a 34-yard run. We'll call it a scamper by the big number 1-3 again on senior nights. Now he's got one through the air, he's got one on the ground, and the Red Tornadoes have 34 on the board.
And Jim, has Reisinger gotten faster? He definitely looks like he's been he kind of saw open field and just looked like he found that second gear and was able to kind of pull away from guys.
He may have. Dan, that may be the case. Or maybe a quarterback and you think, all right, if somebody hits me now, it's going to hurt.
That's true.
Steller's kick is up, and it is no good. So that'll stop the Red Tornadoes scoring for the moment at 34-zip.
Right, and like you said, I think you were in the middle of saying it, Jim, that when Reisinger broke that run, but the 35 is not arbitrary. That's the mercy rule, and that's what kind of puts the running clock into effect. So Red Tornadoes probably, if they're able to get the ball back, going to look to maybe get another score in before halftime then.
Yeah, and if you, again, make sure you keep it with us all through halftime, certainly through the third and fourth quarter. We'll do our best to keep you updated on other games as well. But we've got a couple things going on here, like we said before. Tonight, for those of you just joining us, it is youth football night. It is senior night, and the seniors doing all kinds of work for the Red Tornadoes. And we are honoring the 1994 state championship team.
And Jim, you know, we talk about tradition all the time, and you mentioned it, but we do have tonight the past, present, and future all being honored here at the Silver Bowl.
Damn, that's very poetic.
It is, and as is this Red Tornado offense and this Red Tornado defense pitching a shutout in honor of that 94 Red Death defense.
Chapman's kick will be taken by Rishoff, number 7, at about the 10, and he's going to fight up to the 25. Does a nice job. He's a scrappy kid.
Yeah.
Rishoff, 5'10", 190.
Not a whole lot to him. But
does a nice job there, putting his head down and fighting for those yards.
yeah, he definitely worked hard for him, and that Red Tornado kick coverage team is just they are out there just looking to eat, Jim, all the time. They're always coming downfield at 100 miles an hour, just looking to hit the first person that they can get in their sights. So it's got to be intimidating for kick returners to actually return the ball against this kickoff team.
3:15 left in the first half. The Red Tornadoes on top 34-0. The Mounties 1st and 10 at their own 26. Lorson will take the snap and he'll hand it to Lusk. 28 Lane Lusk. He's been a bright spot for the Mounties tonight on the ground.
Yeah, and Jim, those quick dive plays have been really the only ground game that the Mounties have had. Has just been that, those quick hitters that almost catch the Red Tornado defense off guard.
2nd and 3 now. Gain of 7 on the play. Lorson under center. He'll take the snap, and this time it'll be big number 9, Luke Winter, who will get close to a first down. Oh, they'll give him the first down. It'll be over that by a few yards.
Yep.
So 1st and 10 at the 39? We'll call it the 39, Dan. How's that sound?
It sounds all right to me. Looks like Winter's coming off the field, and number 5, Bachman, who we've seen at receiver, coming in. So maybe a little personnel change to
we've noticed
put the ball in the air.
Sometimes the Mounties, they'll put Miller behind Lusk, and that's what they did there.
And that didn't do a whole lot there. Red Tornado defense all over that one.
Yep, he'll give him a yard to the 40. So again, 150. The clock is ticking now towards halftime.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. We talked about it, how the Mounties have been kind of taking their time throughout the whole first half, getting the plays in and out of the huddle, but it seems like they're kind of taking a little extra time here, so maybe they just want to take this one into the locker room and try and regroup.
Certainly sticking in their I formation, twins left. Handoff to Winter. 43-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down. Again, 110 now. Winter, he's a big kid, Dan. He really is. They list him at 6'1", 215, and he's all of that.
Yeah, he definitely is a pretty decent-sized kid for, being a tailback. He's more of a bruiser.
And it's going to be a handoff to the up back on 3rd and 6. And the Red Tornadoes sniff it out right away. They try to get it to Lusk, nowhere to go. He'll be dropped for a 3-yard loss back to the 40.
And from what it looks like, it doesn't look like they're going to have to run another play before the half here, Jeff.
No, and again, we talked about Winter. You said he looks like a big kid, Dan. One of the things, too, that we mentioned at the outset was that this Mounties team, they're without Gannon Gariski. Lost him to a season-ending injury. And when he was able to play this season, he's had big plays. He had 1,200 yards last year. But tonight, Mount Carmel responsible for all the big plays. As we wind down the first half and it hits zeros, the Red Tornadoes are going to go to the locker room, proud owners of a 34-0 lead, courtesy of two touchdowns by Wills, Widener again, Daukus, and finally Reisinger. So we're going to break for the half, and we'll come back in the 3rd quarter with stats and some scores from around the area.
And after that ceremony, you'll be treated. Carmel Area School District, along with the Ed Romance chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, would like to recognize the 1994 Red Tornado football team on its 25th anniversary of winning the PIAA AA State Championship. The Big Red began their magical 1994 season by successfully completing the Valley Tour, with wins over Tamaqua, Panther Valley, and Marion Catholic by a combined score of 132-14. The Tornadoes then brought back the coal bucket to MCA by defeating arch rival Shamokin 21-18 and letting the Indians know that 4 was enough. Week 5 followed and brought a narrow 13-12 loss on a hot, mist-filled night at Montoursville. After that defeat, the seniors of the 94 squad established the first Pride Night at MCA, a team tradition that continues today. 2 weeks later was a Week 7 showdown with undefeated North Schuylkill. The Tornadoes made a big statement with a 42-0 shutout victory, with Chink Connolly's defense holding North Schuylkill to a negative 54 yards of total offense. The Tornadoes will begin their playoff run as a number 2 seed in the District 11 playoffs. The championship game was against Catasauqua. The Big Red would post another shutout victory in claiming the school's first ever district championship with a 19-0 win over the Rough Riders. The Red Tornadoes will continue to dominate as road warriors the next week in a 42-14 win over Lansdale Catholic, collecting MCA's first ever state playoff win. Up next was Dallas, the defending PIAA champion. In what many would call the defining game of the state championship era, the Big Red would score 21 in the first half on the way to a 21-15 victory. This was followed by a 35-14 win over Calico in the Eastern Final. 20 buses and thousands of fans made their way to Mansion Park in Altoona, where the Tornadoes would cause time to stand still when quarterback Mike Higgins scored from 7 yards out to clinch a 20-14 double overtime win over Forest Hills to give MCA the first of 5 modern-day state championships. So many great players and coaches were part of this magical season, but more than anything else, the 1994 team would lay down the groundwork for future state championship teams, winning every playoff game on the road, most of the time as underdogs. The 616 yards given up defensively on the ground was the best ever in school history, while the squad's 24 interceptions ranked 3rd in school history. On offense, the 117 completions set a new record, and the 449 points scored were second best in Mount Carmel area history. After the season, defensive end Mark Burns, wide receiver Joel Gonzalo, quarterback Mike Higgins, and linebacker Sean Sheptock were named first team All-State, while head coach Whitey Williams was recognized as Coach of the Year. Those with us here tonight are Coach Rob Verano, Coach Bob Beach, statistician Jose Gonzalo, representing the cheerleaders of the 94 squad, Tara Sosnowski Higgins, sophomores, number 41, Joe Costello, who is represented by his brother, Jeff Costello, and his father, Joe Costello. Number 27, Dave Evans. Number 83, Eric Higgins. Number 57, Brian Hollenbush. Number 29, Dan Malakowski, represented by his brother, Jason Malakowski. Juniors. 75, Bill Anderson. Number 26, Pete Cheddar. Number 31, Corey Hepler. Number 28, Denny Malsevich. Seniors. Number 59, Mark Burns. Number 72, Brian Dixon. Number 55, Ryan Geary. Number 88, Joel Gonzalez. Number 63, Scott Grady. Number 10, Mike Higgins. Number 52, Stosh Poltanovich. Number 40, Steve Ziegler. We'd like to mention a deceased member of the 94 team, Ricky Harris. And of course, the 1994 team were coached by Dave Whitey Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring one of our best teams in school history, your 1994 District 11 and AA state champion Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes.
welcome back to the Silver Bowl, where the Red Tornadoes jumped out to a 34-0 lead over the visiting South Williamsport Mounties here at the Silver Bowl. Now, Dan, they scored 34 points. They scored a lot of points.
Yeah.
How'd they do so? I think we got some stats from Jose.
Yes, definitely. Shout out to Jose for being honored along with the 94 team at halftime. Was still able to get me these stats.
Can't keep a good man down.
Right. So MCA rushing, 21 carries for 225 yards. You see they got 4 of those 5 touchdowns on the ground. Passing-wise, 4 of 18 for 118 with one of those passes being a touchdown. 17 first downs, Jim, in the first half. That's a whole lot.
That's pretty good.
And the Mounties rushing, 16 carries for 54 yards, 5 of 14 for 33 yards, and 5 first downs.
Okay. So, Dan, I'll give you this one. I'll set you up for this one. How do those stats and how does the scoreboard translate into your keys? Who was successful so far tonight?
Well, as the scoreboard translates, we'll say the Red Tornadoes have been successful in 2 out of 3 of their keys for the game tonight. And the only reason they haven't gotten all 3 of them marked off is because the game's not over yet. I wanted them to stay on schedule, start fast, and finish strong tonight. They've definitely stayed ahead of the chains and stayed on schedule.
Sure.
They haven't let any of this, they haven't kind of fallen into any sort of a trap throughout this game today. And now all that's left for them to do is finish. And unfortunately for the Mounties of South Williamsport, can't really mark anything off for them. The Red Tornadoes have done a really good job of holding Winter down. The Mounties have had decent coverage in the pass in their pass defense, but they haven't had any interceptions. And really, I don't know if they came off. They didn't really come off the bus flat-footed, but they haven't really, turned anything. They got 2 quick first downs on their first drive and haven't really done much since then.
And Dan, speaking of doing things, one thing that we're going to ask you all to do, just remember, we've done this a few years in a row now with the Coal Bucket game that's 2 weeks from tonight. So bring your canned food, right? Well, the Mount Carmel area and Shamokin area Interact clubs have joined forces to revive the Fill the Truck Coal Bucket food drive. So both clubs are going to collect non-perishable food items at Kent Memorial Stadium. Again, Red Tornadoes on the road this year for the Coal Bucket, down at Kent Memorial. So make sure that you bring non-perishable food items when you attend the Coal Bucket game on Friday, October 25th, 2019. And remember, if you help us fill out the trucks, it's a game that everyone wins. You can help families in need. And remember, Mount Carmel's collection will benefit the Tornado Buddy Bag and the Mount Carmel Area Food Pantry. Shamokin's collection will benefit Manna for the Many. So it's a great cause. Again, let's be honest. If you're in the area, if you're within 100 miles of this place, you're coming to the game anyway. You're not going to miss the Coal Bucket game. You're going to be there. And just be sure that you bring some non-perishable food items with you. We've also, while we wait for this kickoff here, Dan, do you have some updates for us on local scores?
Yeah, we've got a couple games already headed into the third quarter. Shamokin currently atop of the Danville Ironmen, 20-0 in the third quarter.
That'd be a nice win for them.
Yeah, it would be a big win for Shamokin, and kind of, as you said, add a little bit more of a, not that you need any more reason to go see the Coal Bucket game in 2 weeks, but Shamokin kind of getting things going would definitely make that game a little bit more impressive. And Southern Columbia up 28-0 now in the third quarter. North Schuylkill also up 19-7 in the third quarter. So
number 4 will be doing the kicking off for the Mounties. Going to be a high, short kick. Troutman's going to take that at the 27. He's going to slip. He catches his feet, and now he's excited. He's got some space to run, and he's running hard. He's into Mounties territory. He shrugged off a tackle with just, Dan, it was a shoulder shrug.
Yeah.
And he continued on down to the 47-yard line.
Yeah, you're right. Troutman, one of those guys, kind of a defensive specialist. Doesn't get to carry the ball a whole lot. Does most of his damage on the defensive side of the ball. So when he gets his opportunity to catch one of those kickoffs, he definitely takes advantage of it.
And the Red Tornadoes are going to start the second half with some substitutions. Stellar in there in the shotgun for Reisinger. Bendis in for Widener. And it'll be Bendis off the right side. And now he's coming across the field, and now he's in the open field. He switches hands with the ball, and he's going to get dragged down at the 10-yard line. It's a great run by Bendis. And he's caught from behind. Good effort by number 77 for the Mounties.
Yeah, Jim, very nice run there by Bendis. And that's exactly how the Red Tornadoes wanted to start this second half. Troutman with a nice kick return, and then we get the offense in there, and a big gain already down into the red zone inside the 10-yard line.
Looks like Pupo and Witkowski are in there on the wings for the Red Tornadoes. Chapman and Wills will stay in, and the offensive line looks to be the same as well. But Stellar's going to hand it to Bendis again, and Bendis is up in the seam, and Bendis is in. Bendis is going to go in untouched before he takes a shot about 3 yards in the end zone, but that'll go undiscussed as well. Regardless, the Red Tornadoes are on top 40-0, just 49 seconds into this third quarter.
Yeah, Jim, and that was quick. Bendis, it only took him 2 carries to go, 40-plus yards there, and now put this game into that 35-point mercy rule.
Stellar on to attempt the PAT. It's a good snap and a good hold. The kick is blocked. So again, number 77. Unfortunately, we don't have his name, but number 77 for the Mounties makes 2 nice plays on the drive. Nevertheless, the Red Tornadoes, again, on top 40-0 here at the Silver Bowl.
Yeah, and Jim, so we saw a lot of different guys in there on the offensive side of the ball. I'm expecting to see the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. So, we talk about it every week. There's so many different guys shuffling in and out there that, we don't always get to everybody, but we're going to try to throughout the rest of the night. And the Red Tornado defense now, whether there's different guys in there or not, are going to be looking to preserve this shutout.
Yeah, I think that's always the case, Dan, right? You always you don't want to be out there on the field when you give it up. I know that happened last week. Mm-hmm. I think Coach Dara made reference to it in one of the papers I saw as well. So again, ultimately, the good news of it is you're getting a big win, and you're getting a lot of guys those valuable game reps, right? You get that game speed. Mm-hmm. But you're right, that kind of mentality does exist. I think it exists everywhere. And, this South Williamsport team, remind you, this was also the first team to score
on Southern. Yeah. Yeah, it was, and that was all the way in, week 5 or 6?
Well, yeah.
It was
Let's say it wasn't that long ago.
Right, yeah. It was a fair way into the season, but they were the first team to do it, so they definitely capitalize.
Now Stellar will be kicking off, and that'll be taken. Oh, it'll be dropped and picked up again by number 1 for the Mounties at the 15, and he tries to go backwards. He got nowhere to go. The Red Tornadoes are going to drop him right there, so that'll be the rare kick return of 0 yards. And again, comes out from a mishandling of that kickoff.
Yeah, and it looked like Mannion in there put a big hit on him there. That nice tackle there by Mannion, who we're also going to see staying on the field on the defense.
I was looking at the stats from last week, Dan, and again, we always have the stats thanks to Jose, and nobody's as meticulous about them as he is.
Right.
But Mannion wound up being one of the top tacklers last week from his corner spot there.
His corner spot, and I believe a few of those tackles probably came on special teams as
Absolutely.
well, Jim.
Yep. So again, we'll try to now. South Williamsport is going to take a timeout, and that's good news for us because we can get a look at some of these jerseys, Dan. So I'm going to go down the list and try to call out these young men, and you let me know if I miss anybody.
All right.
So we talked about Mannion and his counterpart, Pedro Feliciano, number 16, will play the other corner. I saw Tom David out there. Garrett Verano was out there as well. Number 50.
Aaron Elliott.
Yep, we've got him. Trying to see. I'm assuming Stellar's out there at a linebacker position.
Yeah, and we'll probably see some of these different guys on that offense or that defensive line as well. 66, Matt Chicatano.
45.
Michael Reed. 27, Damon Backus.
60. Oh, we talked about Chicatano.
58, Kellen Geary.
Number 6, Austin Garankowski.
Yeah, I
think that's
we
everybody.
might have got them all.
Big thank you to Coach Eisworth from the South Williamsport side. Is we don't
For the
often get the
timeout, right.
opportunity to do that so quickly.
Yeah, normally we got to do that on the fly there.
So we'll see what we can do here. It'll be a surge in the Mounties out across the 20.
And it looked like number 27 carrying the ball there and carrying the pile, but another guy that we can just say number 27.
Do what we can. Again, if we hear anything, we're certain to share it. Again, they'll come out and the Mounties are going to run that same offense we've seen all night. It's an I formation. One to the right, one to the left, and it's a handoff to the up man. And a nice, strong run there. That'll be a first down for the Mounties. Again, that's number 27.
Chase Beck.
Yep, so we do have him. He's a Chase Beck. We have
Looks like a
listed
freshman.
Is unnamed, right? He's unnumbered.
Unnumbered, but he's a freshman. So and a tough runner. So future looks bright for these Mounties.
Big shout out to Mr. Aaron Demansky over there in the press box, helping us out with some of these numbers.
Yeah.
That's going to be a high pitch to number 18, and he's dragged down in the backfield. Big play for the Red Tornadoes. Caden Fulmer is 18 for the Mounties. Backus and Elliott on the tackle for Mount Carmel.
Yeah, after bending a little bit on those first two run plays, giving up a quick first down, this Tornado defense with a big move, big push up front, and helped out by a little bit of a pitch that was behind Fulmer to get him for a big loss.
2nd and 16, it's a handoff to the up man again. The up man will continue to be Beck, and there's nowhere for Beck to go. Now Backus is going to come out of the pile with the ball. The officials aren't going to award him with that, but it's a nice effort nonetheless.
And Jim, that's always one of those situations where the forward progress stops, but the officials don't blow the play dead. But then as soon as, a turnover occurs or somebody else comes out of the pile with the ball, the play was dead. The play was dead. So, it's but that's not, I think that's just a common thing across the board. If they see that pile even moving an inch, they want to continue to let the play run.
3rd and 12. Some miscommunication there in the backfield. And a big stick is going to bring up 4th down.
Very nice play there by, I think that was Aaron Elliott coming off of that left end and just kind of got in there real quick and blew that play up.
So the Mounties will punt. 4th and a long 10.
Yeah, we'll see the two guys that were at corner kind of just fall back to
Feliciano and Mannion.
Returners.
A couple of nearly 6-foot sophomores, those two guys. So, again, we talk about the bright future. How about the tall future? Now we're going to get a penalty here. And the penalty is on the Mounties for having too many guys on the field.
Yeah, they did have 12.
And we talk about that all the time, and it probably sounds like a broken record for those of you that are kind enough to hear us out every week. But when you get to this stage in the game, special teams are the most suspect to have some of these challenges, only because you don't often have 2nd and 3rd string punt teams.
Right. Yeah, they definitely are the most difficult to figure out because you got guys down there on the sidelines with jackets on and their helmets off, and then it's like, oh, punt team's got to be out there, and nobody's able to get there.
Bower Sox is going to get another nice punt off. They'll take a nice Mountie roll down to the 38-yard line, excuse me. So with 7:40 left in the third quarter, the Red Tornadoes are on top 40-0.
Yeah, so now we'll see. We'll get another chance at this Red Tornado offense, which was
number 76, Michael Keir, in there on the offensive line. Looked also like number 61, Jack Robert.
Yeah, and the quick strike ability of these straight down the line here on the depth chart is very evident with the quick strike that they had to start the second half. Now we're going to see them back on the ball again.
53, Dalton Moser in there on the line as well for the Red Tornadoes. And now Feliciano takes a snap, and he's going to hand it to Backus. Backus is going to run hard off that right side. He'll get out of bounds across the 40. He'll pick up about 5 yards on the play.
And Jim, Backus was at Supper Club last night. Backus is listed at 5'10", 180, but he's a well put together kid. He looks like he's a kind of a he's a built, stocky kid, and he runs tough.
Yeah, well, when we were at, where were we at, Dan? It was one of the away games, not Hughesville. Where were we before Hughesville?
North Schuylkill?
No.
I think that was the last away game, Jim, before Hughesville.
It was the last away game.
Southern?
Maybe it was Southern. It would be an illegal procedure penalty against the Red Tornadoes that cost them 5. But no, I think at one point I was kind of making a joke about it when we saw number 27 run on the field.
Yeah.
And I said, here comes John Ayers. And certainly, you know, we are all aware it's not John Ayers. But
right.
Part of the joke was because they look to be similar in size. So they're, you know, kind of one of those bigger, stockier kids that can put their head down and give you 3 yards anytime you need it.
Yeah, and that's what it seems like Backus is able to do.
He's going to go in motion. Feliciano's going to keep this one himself, and he's trying to get to the outside. He stays on his feet. He runs hard. Again, another in this line of Mount Carmel quarterbacks that just take those snaps and do everything with them. He'll get across the 45 to the 47. It's going to bring up a 32.
Yeah, and Jim, we talked about it in the past. Last week, actually, we talked about it too. You know, at this stage of the game, you're up by 40. The clock's continuously running. You don't want to add any sort of insult to injury and try throwing the ball. But, Jim, I'd like to see Feliciano kind of air it out a little bit. Let him throw it around a little.
They're going to hand it off to Verano on that inside handoff. And the forward progress, depending on which official you believe, one of them has it by a yard, one of them has it by an inch. Either way, the chains are moving, and the Red Tornadoes will pick up a first down.
Yeah, either way he has it. So good job there by Verano getting just enough before getting held up. We'll see here, Jim. A lot of different guys in there that can handle the ball. So we'll see if we saw Backus, we saw Verano. We'll see if we see Davitt here anytime soon.
It's going to be Backus again, and he's going to run through 2 tacklers and fall forward to gain, give him 3 yards when he really probably should have lost 2. So again, a nice play by Backus to fight and put out that second effort.
Yeah, we said that those 3 yards that you know he's pretty much gonna get every time he touches the ball. He had to work for those 3, but you're right, he was able to pick them up.
And I'm just looking at the picture here, Dan. I'm looking at our monitor, and it's a terrific picture. Again, tonight's game sponsored by Verano Insurance. Locations in both Mount Carmel and Shamokin. And if we're talking Mount Carmel and Shamokin, as Backus gets down to the 45, it'll bring up 3rd and 4. If we're talking Mount Carmel and Shamokin, we're talking the Coal Bucket game. That's 2 weeks from tonight. And again, if you're going to the Coal Bucket game, make sure that you're bringing your non-perishable food items for the Fill the Truck Coal Bucket food drive.
Yeah, I'll definitely be bringing some canned goods for that one, Jim.
Well, you're going to be there anyway.
And
right, you might
exactly.
as well support the cause.
Right. And speaking of Shamokin, currently up 20-7 now in the fourth quarter over Danville. Southern Columbia really starting to pull away against Wyoming area here in the second half. This is probably the furthest in to a game that I think the Southern Stars have had to play, but they're now up 42-0 in the third quarter over Wyoming area.
Nice tough run there by Feliciano. We'll see if they give him the first down. They should.
He earned it, if they should.
And they'll say
Fourth down?
fourth down.
Wow, that's real close, Jim.
I think in other situations that might at least be worth a measurement.
Yeah, I think this is one of those situations they just wanted to make a decision instead of slow things down.
So it'll bring up fourth and short. The Red Tornadoes will pack it in tight here in the shotgun double wing. Feliciano keeping himself, and he's going to bounce to the outside. Now he cuts back inside, and he works hard to pick up the first down and a few more down to the 35-yard line of the Mounties. 2:50 and counting here in the third quarter. The Red Tornadoes on top 40-0, courtesy of 5 rushing touchdowns, although it started with a 20-yard pitch and catch from Reisinger to Wills.
Yeah, and Jim, now we've seen, we talked about it last week with 7 different guys scoring touchdowns. This week, we're already at 4, I believe.
Yep.
4 different guys. And with the way that this offense is moving the ball.
5 different guys. Sorry, Dan.
5, okay. And it looks like we could even have more moving forward.
It's going to be Backus again, and Backus is in the open field, and he uses a nice stiff arm. And Dan, no quicker than you said it, Backus is in from 35 yards out for another Red Tornado touchdown. Their 7th of the night, and that'll stretch the lead to 46-0.
And Jim Backus, we talked about that 3 yards that he's going to work hard for there. We got to see a little bit of the speed, and I'm a little shocked at that. He, seeing him kind of just get contacted pretty much every time he takes the ball has been different. Seeing him in open field, he's got a little bit of quickness there.
And for the Red Tornadoes, we're going to see something we haven't seen yet this season. Number 71, Nick Nestico, on to attempt the extra point, and the kick is up, and it's wide right. So it'll stay 46-0.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Nestico there because the snap was just a little bit high. It took Verano just an extra half a second to get that one down on the block, and I think it kind of threw Nestico's timing off a bit.
Well, Dan, this has been an interesting game. It's been a long game.
Yeah.
I think most of them feel like they're pretty long anymore, which is a nice thing. It's a nice, you're here, you get your money's worth, certainly.
Absolutely.
But think back to how this started. So South Williamsport wins the toss and says, we want the ball.
Yeah.
Right? They come out, and it's Lorson and Nash. It's Lorson and Nash. It's Lorson and Nash down the field. Widener puts an end to that with an INT, and that was it.
Yeah, and it's been all Red Tornadoes since then. It has. I mean, really, that's like I said. They kind of South Williamsport came off the bus. They came out with a kind of a spirited start to the game. Kind of saying that we're not going to give up that easy. We're not going to. That sort of mentality where we're not going to make this easy on you guys.
Right.
And the Red Tornadoes said, well, you guys don't have to make it easy on us. We're gonna come out and play our game.
Well, and Coach Eisworth, he's talked about it a couple times this season, and he's right. As far as single A teams go,
yeah,
South Williamsport's one of the toughest you're going to run into, and they do have a difficult slate because of where they are, because the conference, all that fun stuff. As Steller's kick will drop in front of number 1 Cameron Greenaway, and he'll return it across the 30. They talk about running into Mount Southern, Central, and then Mount Carmel on back-to-back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a tough stretch for AA and AAA schools to run through to run that kind of gauntlet. So credit to South Williamsport to just kind of keep punching all the way through this one.
Yeah, I mean they definitely haven't quit. You see them still pounding the rock, still trying to just even at this point where the game may be out of reach, we're still seeing them work hard and try and improve on things.
Looks like there's at least one change defensively for the Red Tornadoes. Number 18, Jacob Zarski's out there now in a safety position.
Yep.
as the handoff for the Mounties goes to the up man and will be stopped after he picks up 2.
And Jim, Aaron Elliott, again, coming off of that defensive end spot and getting directly down the line of scrimmage and making that play really quick. He's working hard in there. You know, he reminds me of, you know, a defensive end that did a lot last year with getting into the backfield, Mike Hood. You know, he's getting a lot of penetration upfield, and he's getting into the backfield a lot. So, bright future at that defensive end spot.
Another run there for, this one's number 18, Kate Fulmer. Pick up a few yards. Dan, to be honest with you, when you started talking about a defensive end that he reminds you of, all I could think was, please don't say he reminds you of a younger you. Please don't say he reminds you of a younger you.
I wouldn't give myself that much credit there, Jim. I thought that I might have played a decent defensive end in my day, but I always thought I was a better linebacker anyways.
Number 12, Ethan Fenella, out there on the field as well for the Red Tornadoes. Now he's on the far side corner. 3rd and 8 for the Mounties, and what'll be likely be the last play of the third quarter. It'll be a handoff to Fulmer, and Carmel sniffed that one right out. So even late in the game, that defense is hungry.
Yeah, Joe, I'm not sure who that was. Is that was Chicatano or David in there or Mannion? There's a lot of red jerseys around there, but they did a nice job getting in there.
One thing I am sure of is that's the end of the third quarter, and so after 3, the Red Tornadoes have stretched this lead another 12 points and put us up to 46-0 over the South Williamsport Mounties.
Yeah, Jim, good third quarter there. Good start to this second half for these, you know, kind of the reserves here from this Mount Carmel area team coming out. Both times they've gotten the ball offensively, they've put it in the end zone. And now it is 4th and long for the Mounties. So this could possibly be a second consecutive stop for this Red Tornado defense as well.
So to give you a rundown, again, for the Red Tornadoes, well, I was going to give you a scoring summary, but again, it's been all Red Tornadoes tonight.
Right.
They opened it up, a 20-yard pass from Reisinger to Wills, and made it 7-0, and then the Red Tornadoes really took over on the ground. A 17-yard from Widener, a 5-yard run from Widener, a 3-yard run from Daukus, a 34-yard run from Reisinger. That was the end of the scoring in the first half.
Yep.
That stretched it out to 34. And then here in the second half, as the Red Tornadoes get a good rush on the punt, it's going to be Feliciano. He picks it up at the 26. And he'll get across the 35 to the 39. But here in the third quarter, or in the second half, I should say, it's been an 8-yard run out of Bendis that stretched it to 40. And now a 35-yard run from Backus brought us to 46. And again, the Red Tornadoes now have 1st and 10 on their own 39.
And I see one other guy in there that we haven't seen. It looks like number 15 in there at a tight end spot, Ben Hidley. So everybody getting their shot tonight.
Big run by Mannion up across the 50 into Mountie territory down to the 47-yard line.
Yeah, Jim, and that's just a huge surge there by Mannion. Yeah, I mean, if you look at him out there on the field, Jim, he's dancing around, he's enjoying himself, and that kid's just a ball of energy, man. He gets the ball, and he's just like he shot out of a cannon.
Mannion and Feliciano. Mannion goes in motion, but the handoff is inside to number 18, Zarski. Does a nice job getting upfield across the 45 down to the 44.
Yeah, good little run there by Zarski, and we'll see what the Red Tornadoes decide to do here. If they're going to keep things going, kind of, you know, back and forth. They went with Mannion, went with Zarski. Maybe we'll see a keep here for Feliciano.
And it'll be actually a snap to the up back, Dan, so you were right in the distribution, but it's going to be Tom Davitt. And let's say he The ball did come out, but they'll rule him down, I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
The ball will be very close to a first down. There's a red tornado down on the field at the moment. So we'll take a second as they tend to that young man. .10:07 left in this one. 46-0.
Yeah, but before the injury,
Red
a very,
Tornadoes.
very good run there by Tom Davitt, who looks like he's going to get a little breather here on the sideline now.
And again, we talked about a couple different things tonight. We've talked about the canned food drive for the Coal Bucket in 2 weeks. We've talked about the turf project. Don't forget the Tornado Brick project as well. And also, speaking of Shamokin.
Yeah, Jim, you know, you brought up Shamokin. I wanted to check on the scores. Now the fourth quarter scores. And Danville not going away easy. I don't have an exact time of how much time is left in the fourth quarter, but Danville now brought it within 6. Shamokin is up 20-14 now on Danville. So Danville looking to, you know, make the comeback.
Yeah, that offense, Danville, the Ironmen, they have an interesting offense, Dan, in that they're very pass heavy. I mean, they have a young quarterback. I think he's a sophomore this year, KJ Riley.
Yep.
He was kind of thrust into duty last year, and he had a lot of success. Big part of it, I think, was thrown to his brother, Preston, I believe was his name.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a talented kid. Certainly, it's a younger Danville team this year. So to be able to come back like this would be a big thing for the Red Tornadoes, for the Ironmen.
Yeah, it would. It would definitely be something to kind of raise their spirits moving forward as well, and kind of keep them motivated going out through the rest of the season. But also, Southern Columbia is still up 42-0. I believe North Schuylkill is now at 39-7. So a lot of success across area teams so far tonight.
Continue to tend to the young man on the field. As soon as we can see who that is, we'll be sure to share it with you all.
And Warrior Run and Central Columbia also in a tight battle. 14-10. Warrior Run is currently on top. Bloomsburg up 42-0 on Hughesville.
Those Central Columbia scores are so tricky. So we talked about them last night, and one thing they continue to do, Dan, is they keep winning, which is a big thing, right? That's really, I say it's a big thing. Ultimately, it's the only thing.
Right.
And being located where we are and affiliated how we are with the Red Tornadoes, you look at everything through the lens of Mount Carmel in a lot of ways. And so you see Central sitting at 5-2, and we had this conversation on the way in. You know, sitting at 5-2, you say, wow, that Red Tornado win in week 1 looks better and better every week.
Yeah.
And you see, okay, this was a team here, South Williamsport, the Mounties, you know, they gave Central everything they could handle last week. They ultimately faltered and lost 17-7. But now Warrior Run, again, another school that's having somewhat of a difficult year this year, on top of Central, 14-10. So, yeah, at the end of the day, all that matters are the wins and the losses and whether or not you get to put a tick in that W column. But Central's getting there in an interesting way.
Yeah, they definitely are getting there in an interesting way, Jim. And this is one of those situations, though, where, you know, you talk about it all the time. If you let good teams hang around, eventually they're gonna get you. And like you said, they let South Williamsport hang around, but South Williamsport, they were able to kind of finish that game out. You know, you're letting Warrior Run hang around, and now Warrior Run is on top in the fourth quarter.
Right.
You know, so this may be the situation where they take an L just because they haven't been able to close games out.
And it's hard. I mean, with Central specifically, we know that most, last year they had Isaac Genzimer, and he did everything for them, and he reset all their record books as they put the Red Tornado on the cart, and they're going to get him out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, leading the field for the Red Tornadoes, number 61, Jack Roberts.
And so that's number 61, Jack Roberts. So we certainly wish him all the best. And you see all the Red Tornadoes, and this is what it's all about ultimately, Dan. As you see all the Red Tornadoes mobbing the cart, checking on their brother there.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for a freshman. You know, Jack Robert, freshman, bright future moving forward.
And it goes without saying, but if you notice, Dan, the last thing we'll say about that is the last man to kind of give words of encouragement and wisdom, your senior leader, number 28, Shane Widener, and there's another senior, number 72, Colin Erb, who's in the cart with him.
Yeah, taking the trip with him to get further evaluated.
So give Coach Dara, and hold with, before we can even reset here, number 16, Feliciano, is in, and he's going to be dropped 3 or 4 yards into the end zone again. And the officials are going to let this go yet again, and that is a dangerous play, and they need to curb that. Again, the play is over, and you're allowing a defender a free run. You won't hear us too much complain about officiating, but those are dangerous plays that have to be addressed, and that's the last 2 Red Tornado touchdowns now have been punctuated with a hit 6 yards into the end zone.
Yeah, Jim, I'm not sure if you were trying to be facetious there, because I definitely will complain a fair amount about the refs, but you're right. That is definitely something that needs to be stopped. There's no flag being thrown. There's not even a conversation being had. And whether Mount Carmel's are up by 100 points or in a 1-point game, it needs to be addressed.
Nestico drills that one. So it's 53-0 Red Tornadoes with 9:47 left in the 4th quarter of this one.
Yeah, and these Red Tornadoes are, again, that's now 3 for 3 in this second half. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, and the lead continues to build.
And that's also the 7th different Red Tornado to score tonight. Again, the Red Tornadoes have 8 touchdowns. Widener, the only one
with 2,
having reached pay dirt twice.
And Jim, you know, talked about it at the beginning of the game. You know, if Coach Dara was going to continue to distribute the ball, and it's such a, you know, we talked about it a lot last week, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. It's such a luxury for Coach Dara to have, to be able to put it in Bacchus, Stellar. I can't even name all of them because I'm going to be here until the end of the game, naming all the weapons that they have that can put the ball in the end zone. Not just you know, run the ball into the ground and run the clock out. These guys are continuing to score, Jim.
Stellar's kick will be taken by Greenaway at about the 23. He'll be tackled around the 35.
And Jim, you heard the, you know, I'm not sure if you heard the kind of the groan from this Red Tornado faithful, but you know, even ahead 53-0. Well, there's still a lot of people here.
And again, I think young Jack Robert being taken off on a cart is indicative of, you know, just the inherent physicality and the violence of this game, Dan. And so in that case, again, 53-0 or not, Ethan Finella, young man, got thrown to the turf after the play.
Yeah.
And so that's where the groan came from. And I think the officials at this point are willing to do whatever they need to do to not stop the clock.
Right, yeah, I think, which in one case is good. You just kind of want to end this game and get out of here without any sort of other injuries or anything of that type. But allowing, you know, the extracurriculars to go on after the plays is going to set a very bad precedent and cause, I feel like, more problems moving forward. So it's a tough situation for the officials to be in, I guess.
2nd and 8 for the Mounties. It's a pitch to Fulmer, and he's going to be thrown down hard in the backfield by number 3, Tom Davitt. So Mr. Davitt having himself a half here.
Yeah, Davitt made a really, really nice read there coming from that linebacker spot. you know, that was something that I had the opportunity to, you know, work with Mr. David on when he played down with the Cougars, and I was helping out there as a coach. So I like to, you know, say that I played a part in some of these guys' development, and it's nice to finally see them getting out here on the field and putting it all together on the big stage.
Orson hands off to Fulmer again, who's going to be stuffed in the backfield. And that was our 3rd and 11 play. So with 7:40 left and the Red Tornadoes on top 53-0, the Mounties will be punting yet again.
Yeah, so we'll see. Now with like you said, with the clock running, well, now it looks like we got 2 new returners back here too. Number 12, Fenella, and number 18, Jacob Zarski, back deep to return the punt.
There's going to be a flag on the play. Again, an illegal substitution against the Mounties.
Yeah, and that's again, you know, like you said about special teams, Jim, that's kind of just what happens in these games.
It's tough, and the later it gets, I mean, these things happen.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're down. No, but unfortunately for them, you're down 53 points.
Nice punt in the direction of Zarski, and he's going to let it bounce by him. It'll roll out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So a good punt by Bowersox. He's done a nice job tonight and has figured out how to get some pretty decent rolls off this Red Tornado grass.
Yeah, he definitely has here. Gotten some very nice rolls. But that was one of those situations where, you know, just the clock's running, so let it bounce, let it roll, run some clock. So let's, yeah, I think on both sides, the Red Tornado side and the Mountie side, you're kind of just trying to get things going and get out of here, you know.
6:45 and counting. The snap, the handoff will go to Zarski, and Zarski's trying to pick a lane. He does a nice job of keeping his feet moving, gets out across the 30. So again, another Red Tornado running back that takes a hit in the backfield and turns it into a gain of 5.
Yeah, they just, these guys are real resilient. They don't go down easy, and they don't have really any sort of issue with getting hit. You know, they get hit hard early and just keep plugging away.
Number 60, Kenny Wetzel in there on the offensive line for the Red Tornadoes. I don't believe we called out that young man yet, but this is going to be Zarski again up the middle, and he'll pick up the first down, and it'll be thrown towards the 40. I'll say stopped at the 38. Number 30, Liam Bradley, so freshman, is in on this one as well now, as he'll go in and replace Tom Davitt.
So it looks like he's going to be in that kind of full-back, wing-back spot there where we've seen Davitt, Daukus, Wikoski, all those guys play at.
And this time it's going to be Fenella out of that role. When he tries to get to the outside, he's not going to be able to do it. Nice lateral pursuit by number 1, Cameron Greenaway, for the Mounties. Bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, nice job there by the Mounties defense getting out there, but we'll see what the Red Tornadoes decide to do here. Looks like they're content to keep shuffling guys in and out and keep giving other guys opportunities to kind of get the ball.
Number 15, Ben Hidlay, he was out there for a few plays. He and Fenella on their way out. And this will be a handoff to Zarski again. And Zarski, man, he got up through there quick, Dan.
Yeah, he
across
does.
the 45. Didn't look like there was much. And then all of a sudden, I saw him 5 yards down the field.
Right, and Jim, that's something that I think I mentioned it either last week or the week prior.
Let me guess, you coached him, right?
Well, that's beside the point, Jim. Yeah, I did. But I'm talking about Coach Dara's, speaking of Zarski being probably the fastest kid on the team.
And it'll be Zarski again, and he runs through an arm tackle in the backfield. Now he's doing a nice job of being patient, trying to figure out where to go. He'll pick up the first down, so a nice run there on 3rd down by Zarski again, being resilient enough to pick up the first.
Yeah, and also did a real nice job of following his blocks there, too. He kind of just, after making that first guy miss, he just got behind Chicatano, who was out in front of him, and let him kind of lead him down for 4 or 5 extra yards.
We're under 4 minutes here at the Silver Bowl. Feliciano takes the snap, and this time it's going to be to Verano. And Verano's up on the inside. Now Verano, he's got one man to beat, and it's a nice job by Rishoff, who's going to throw him down inside the 20.
Yeah, that's a
big run by Verano.
Yeah, that's a real good run there by Verano. And a good job by the blocking. I mean, there was one, looked like, was it Geary maybe? Downfield blocking, and he had his defender so tied up in the block that he didn't even know that Verano ran behind him.
1st and 10 from the 18. Red Tornadoes. Verano comes in motion again, and they're snapping to the up back, and that's the freshman Bradley, and he does a great job of getting inside the 10-yard line, also very close to a 1st down.
Yeah, that's another nice quick hitter there, and the Red Tornadoes just continue to move the chains. They continue to move downfield, Jim, and they're looking to put another 6 points on the board here with really whoever wants to carry the ball.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, Dan. I was going to mention that before. If Coach Dara, they're going to hand it to Zarski, and Zarski will pick his way through down to the 5. It'll be a 1st down and bring up 1st and goal with 2:25 left. But as long as Coach Dara doesn't call Feliciano's number, the Red Tornadoes, if they're able to put another one in here, will have their 8th different scorer tonight.
8 scores on 9 scores, right? That's what it would be?
Yep.
Now, are we counting, we got to count Stellar in that as well, right, for his PATs? Because he's also a scorer.
And it's Zarski, and Zarski's in, and he's going to score what will most certainly be the first of many touchdowns in a Red Tornado jersey for that young man. But the Red Tornadoes are going to stretch this again to 59-0.
And Jim, again, Zarski just kind of making something out of what looks to be nothing. It didn't look like he had any sort of hole there, but he's just that little scat back. He kind of just, it looked like he kind of just turned himself sideways, got himself skinny, and found a crease and was able to get into the end zone.
Nestico on to attempt his 3rd extra point of the night. So again, a little confusion there in the Red Tornado special teams.
Right.
And same for the Mounties, as they're loading up one side. So they're going to go after this extra point. They're going to get an overload, and it will be blocked, but they're also going to run into the kicker. So for the first time tonight, we're going to get a deserved foul.
Yeah, like you said, for the first time. And Nestico is rightfully so a little angry about that. He is a freshman with a very bright future, and they came in hard and they hit him hard. And thankfully, Verano in there with a kind of a cooler head, able to.
Well, and no less, again, just indicative of where we are in this game, the Red Tornadoes are going to decline that and just take the missed extra point.
Well, I guess that's the right decision for Coach Dara, but in that situation, I would have kind of accepted that and probably went for 2 then. That's kind of how I'm feeling about these missed penalties, and kind of just the lack of things are being missed out there, and I think it just need to get this one done and over with, Jim.
And I think Coach Dara would agree with you in that we need to get this one done and over with, and so there's no point in attempting the PAT again or any of that kind of stuff, Daniel.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's why you're up here.
We just want to keep everyone healthy, that's all.
That's why you're up here with me, big fella.
These guys are looking to make another district championship run and another shot at Southern Columbia, so got to keep everybody healthy.
Stellar, nice kick. That'll be Rishoff at the 18. And he's going to pick his way up across the 30. So with a minute 46 left in this one again, the Red Tornadoes on top, 59-0. And there are all kinds of people still in this stadium, Dan.
Yeah, Jim, it's wonderful to see that. You know, it's a beautiful night. It did get a little bit cooler here. I just felt a slight breeze coming in from the outside. Got a little bit cooler, but it's a mild night for, you know, somewhat mid-October, and you know, you got a lot of different guys getting opportunities to play. So why leave, you know?
Right. Yep, still mid-50s here. It was right around 60 game time, but with that sun going down, as we see number 27, Chase Beck again on the carry for the Mounties. Might be a little warmer, Dan, if you would put your jacket on.
Well, I'm not complaining. This is, like I said, this is a nice brisk night
You
tonight.
can
So
stand next to me shivering and let the viewers hear your teeth chattering.
well, I wouldn't say it's that cold, Jim.
Oh, I wouldn't either, but my teeth aren't chattering.
I don't think mine are either, but these fans definitely are about just how far this Red Tornado offense has come from week 1. You know, where they struggled, and you know, were kind of it was kind of a new system input at that point, and just the development of this offense. You know, they went back to kind of old reliable, the shotgun wing, and continue to just get better and better. Last week, 7 different guys with scores. This week, 8 different guys with scores. This team is just continues to be tremendous.
Yep, and now we're going to be under 10 seconds here. There's no need to run another play for the Mounties. They've retreated to their sideline. The Red Tornadoes have retreated to theirs, and the clock has run out on this one. The Red Tornadoes will come out of their Week 8 matchup victorious by a score of 59-0 over the South Williamsport Mounties. And again, Dan, the Red Tornadoes put up 59 points, and if you're going to score 59, somebody's got to score. And in this case, it was somebody's. It was a lot of them. The Red Tornadoes have 8 different players score touchdowns tonight. Add in Stellar and his extra points. And again, Widener, the only one with more than one end zone trip.
Yeah, Jim, it was just another great night to be a Red Tornado alum and a Red Tornado fan, because these guys just, like I said, they continue to impress. They don't have, there's not a whole lot of flaws in this team. And really, where there may be one hole on offense or defense, somebody else fills it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, we can start with the Mounties and where they are. And part of it from the Mounties is going to be, no doubt, I think that if you want to look for the success tonight, the player of the game on their end, I think it's going to be Mr. Lusk, Lance Lusk. He had a, you know, about as good a night as you can have given the circumstances. Offensively, he was, in a lot of cases, he was the bright spot for the Mounties.
Yeah, I have to agree. They didn't have a whole lot of success moving the ball
right
after that first drive at all.
And I think,
and he was probably the only guy that had even the slightest bit of success.
and on the Red Tornado side, I mean, we've talked about it, when you want to distribute the ball and give credit to everyone. I think tonight, probably because we burned him a couple weeks ago, probably belongs to Widener.
Yeah.
In terms of, again, he had the interception that really set the tone for the way this was going to go for the Mounties and the Red Tornadoes. He'll be the only one with a couple scores tonight. He had a few big hits defensively. So a nice night out of the senior Widener on senior night.
Yeah, and the seniors, you know, it was senior night, but the seniors didn't get a whole lot of playing time tonight because they didn't really need it. Throughout the game, they performed in the first half, and then they didn't really have to play after that. So that's always nice. You get to get your touches, get your carries, get your scores in.
Yep.
And then, all in all, in the end, you get to take a break.
Yeah, Reisinger didn't take a second half snap.
No, and got to watch Stellar and Feliciano in there just continue their development at that quarterback spot to show that they're ready for the future. And Jim, I just got some stats. Credit to Mr. Gonzalo Jose down there on the sideline, our statistician extraordinaire. So we'll go Red Tornadoes first as the winning team. 44 rushes for 477 yards on the ground.
Oh my goodness.
And Jim, I misread the stats at halftime. It was not, we were not 4 of 18. We were 4 of 8 passing.
I think most of us kind of figured that.
Yeah, I thought that was a little skewed. So and finished out for the whole game 4 of 8 for 118 passing yards, giving us a grand total of 595 yards of offense tonight, Jim, and 26 first downs. So to go along with those 59 points. And for South Williamsport, 34 carries for 73 yards, 5 of 14 passing for 33, giving them a grand total of 106 yards and 6 first downs. And unfortunately for the Mounties, and a credit to the Red Tornado defense, 0 points.
Yeah, and I think, this week it is what it is in a lot of ways, and it's over. And I think both teams need to remember that it's, you can enjoy it, have a good night tonight.
Yep.
You can, if you're on the Mountie side, you can kind of deal with whatever you need to deal with, and then get back at it tomorrow or Sunday. And a big part, again, so for the Mounties, you're going to get out of this difficult stretch, this gauntlet.
Yeah.
And you'll be at Milton next week, where it's kind of more, I think they'll be a little more in line with where they are as a program together.
I agree.
And for Mount Carmel, you've got another home one against Bloomsburg. So, Bloomsburg had somewhat of a difficult night tonight.
No, Jim, I actually think Bloomsburg played Hughesville, correct?
Hughesville, excuse me, sorry. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So
you're right.
Bloomsburg is going to be kind of riding high
So
going into the next week.
So they'll come in, like you said, riding high off a big win.
Finished. I got it right here. I'll see if I can get how it finished out there.
A couple scores for anybody still with us.
Yeah, Berwick 42-7, Jersey Shore 40-21 over Lewisburg. I just saw it too.
You get that Danville score.
That those will be the ones we want to see, and they're the ones we're not finding right now, Jim. So Shamokin 28-21 final over Danville.
Big win for the Indians as well.
North Schuylkill 39-7 final. Warrior Run 14-10 over Central final. Southern Columbia 42-0 final. And Bloomsburg 42-6 final over Hughesville. So big winners there against Hughesville.
Big winners, and the Red Tornadoes certainly big winners tonight. So with that, we will get out of here. Again, the Red Tornadoes are 59-0 victors over the South Williamsport Mounties. And I'm Jim Lesko.
I'm Dan Lesko.
For Jose Gonzalo, we're out, and we will see you next week.